In today's video, we're going to be going over some of my personal favorite holy grail type fragrances that I will always love and enjoy. And that doesn't even necessarily mean that they have to be overly expensive or hard to acquire. I think that term is used differently in different hobbies. Like if you're into, watches or something, you might have that Grail watch that is just really, really expensive. Maybe it's hard to get. Not so much the case with these. Now, we do have a few niche fragrances in here that are expensive, but we also have designers that are not very expensive and also easy to get. I mean, none of these are discontinued, so they're all easy to get, at least in terms of availability. Price point on some might be a different story. But for me, ultimately, it's the fact that these exist is what I like so much about them. The fact that I'm able to connect with these scents and enjoy them so much, and the fact that they just work so well with what I like, that's what makes these holy grails for me. And a video like this is always so hard to make because I have so many that I truly love, but I tried to keep it really, really concise with this, as you're going to see, and we're going to go over all of these today. Like always, I'm going to put links in the video description if you want to pick any of these up for yourself. I'll make it super easy for you to find them and make a purchase if you want and save some money because they're all at discounters. Now, this first one, it's Pasha de Cartier. This is the Parfum version. This is great, a fantastic fragrance, and I'll say, I don't have every single Cartier fragrance, but of the ones that I do have, each and every one of them smells classy, refined, sophisticated, high-end, and premium. And none of them are really overpriced. For the most part, you can get at least the main ones within their normal designer lineup for $100 or less. This one in particular, I believe typically you might be looking at around $70 to $80 most of the time, 100 ml bottle, full presentation, just the standard stuff. And to be honest with you, this smells a lot more expensive than $70 or $80. Now, I don't know what it retails for. I'm sure probably more, maybe even probably double that or something would be my guess for something like this, because Cartier is a pretty renowned brand, expensive brand. But man, the fact that you can get something that smells this good, this classy for under $100 is pretty amazing. This has liquor, sandalwood, balsam fir, so it has this nice creamy woodiness from the sandalwood, a nice boozy touch that's on the sweeter side of things, and then this balsam fir gives it this slight kind of aromatic green smell, but also still a bit of a woodiness as well that kind of ties into that sandalwood accord. It smells really, really nice, and I've already mentioned it, but it's pure class, pure sophistication and elegance. I mean, this is not going to be following the trends of newer style fragrances that are more youthful smelling. In fact, it's quite the opposite. This does have more of a mature smell to it, so that's something to keep in mind. What I like so much about this at the end of the day is that it's kind of like a breath of fresh air. It's like a reset. When I'm so used to wearing a lot of new releases as I'm testing them out and just, stuff that I have that's pretty common in my collection, I can go to something like this and it's different. It stands out, it's unique, and it just is a different wearing experience entirely, and that's what I love so much about it. This next one is Guerlain L'Homme Ideal. This is the Parfum edition, which has really quickly gone up in the rankings for me, and I figured that it would just based off of the note breakdown when I first viewed it online, and then after smelling it for the first time, I was hooked on it pretty much from the start. So you still get that almond, but then you get this nice amaretto accord in here. And basically what this is, to make it super simple, it's that almond-based DNA that's used throughout the entirety of the lineup with a bit of a boozy touch from that amaretto note. It smells absolutely wonderful, addicting, alluring, sexy, and kind of mysterious. Great for an evening out. Coming in at a true parfum, it's also a great performer. I think retail is $175, if I remember right off the top of my head, somewhere around in there. Now keep in mind, this is technically niche, but $175 retail for a 100 ml niche fragrance is not really all that crazy. Now, discounter-wise, typically you can get it for, if it's in stock, I don't know, maybe 110, something like that, 120, maybe even a bit less. It's just whether or not it's in stock is the main problem. It's often sold out as this one ages a little bit and more is introduced into the supply chain. I'm sure it'll drop in price and become available. Same exact thing happened with the EDP and the Extreme. Those dropped by like $30 or $40 since the peak. So that'll happen with this at some point, I'm sure. But I love it. This is kind of what I look for in a flanker, and again, that's why it's in this video, because it's like they answered my desires, even though I didn't really profess those desires of what I wanted in a flanker, and they definitely wouldn't listen to me because they don't know who I am. It's still something that I thought about and I wished for, you know, a nice boozy take on this DNA, and we ended up getting it anyway. This next one is niche. It's from a very, very polarizing niche brand, just to keep it real simple, and I'm sure you probably know what brand I'm talking about. It's Creed, and no, it's not a Invictus. It's not a Green Irish Tweed either. A couple of my favorites that you would probably expect it to be. It's actually one that I don't talk about a ton, Royal Oud. I love it, and I've joked about it for years and kind of have said that they should have named it Royal Cedarwood, because truthfully, there's a lot of cedarwood, more cedarwood than oud, at least in terms of prominence overall, in my opinion. This is a 2016 bottle, so it is obviously the 75 ml 16 FO1. If you cared about the batch, it's wearing off. You can barely see it down here anymore. Coloration is a little bit dark. I think the newer bottles, I'm assuming the liquid's probably a little bit lighter. That's just kind of how it goes, but I've loved Royal Oud for a long time, and there is oud. The oud that you do primarily get, at least to me, is going to be off the opening. Again, the dry down is mostly cedarwood focused. So you get the oud, the cedarwood, and quite a bit of pink pepper as well. It's a very spicy, woody, rich, and dry scent. A little bit of a sweetness, but not a ton. Again, woody and dry. That does ultimately give this more of a classic type of smell, you know, back when men's fragrances were primarily woody and kind of earthy and just more traditionally masculine. That's kind of what this goes back to, and even Creed Invictus as well, although that is more citrus and fruits focused, but you know, at least still had a nice woody prominent base. You know, this one really took that even to the next level. There are a lot of reasons that I love Royal Oud, and I already kind of named off most of them right there. I like this more traditional style of scent from time to time, and it's great for fall especially. You could wear this into winter time. I'm not going to be touching it in spring and summer. It just doesn't make sense, but man, fall, when you got a hoodie on, it's nice and crisp, but the leaves are falling, it's windy, you know, it's just, man, Royal Oud absolutely kills it during that time. And for a Creed, it's a good performer. Now, it's not the most beast mode thing I've ever smelled, and it's, you know, it's kind of in there around Invictus with me, which I've always gotten great performance out of Invictus. I would say probably Invictus and Royal Oud are a couple of their strongest scents, at least from their normal Elysium lineup. You get into Elysium Imperial and Arofa and things like that, and things get a bit weaker, but Royal Oud, it's expensive, but man, it is sure a beauty. This next one is cheap in comparison, you know, about mid-range designer price, but there's a big discrepancy in price between those two. It's the one Eau de Parfum. It's all about the tobacco and the amber, essentially. A little bit of grapefruit off the opening, but that's not really the forefront. That's not the focus. One of the best designer tobacco scents that you can buy, at least in terms of just ultimate versatility and mass-pleasing ability, I guess. Now, you could throw in a spice bomb as well, very strong on the tobacco, and does a similar thing in terms of complement factor, but it's much spicier. Therefore, it's much stronger, it's more in your face. The one is a much more sensual type of smell. It's perfect for a date night because it's softer, it's a little bit more alluring. Again, to use the word, it's kind of a mysterious smelling scent. It just draws people in. I mean, it really doesn't need to be described. It's been out for a long time. I believe the Eau de Parfum was a 2015 release. I'm guessing maybe the Eau de Toilette was, I don't know, 2013 or something. You can let me know. I can't remember. But again, been around for a while, very popular. Doesn't make it a bad scent though. And I've said this for so many years also, people who've watched the channel know, but this is one of my go-to evening scents. Like, you know, you go through the day, you get home, you take a shower and you're just kind of hanging out around the house in the evening before bed, I throw on the one often. I like it for that time of night. It's just kind of relaxing, and it's just a good time to wear this stuff. And again, date nights, evenings out, dinners as well, it would be a good time to wear something like this because, as you've probably heard, it's not the best performer. So use it in situations where you don't need performance, and then that kind of alleviates some of that frustration. You know, it should go without saying, this is not going to be what you want to wear when you're going out to the club for 10 hours or something. You guys know I love Roja Elysium. It's one of my favorites in terms of just versatility, mass pleasing, you know, compliment factor, and just smell, really. I mean, performance and compliment factor doesn't really dictate my love for a scent as much as it used to, because I'll admit when I was first starting out, that's what I wanted. I wanted good performance, and I wanted something that people were going to enjoy the smell of, you know, and so many times you can get all three of those things, and you still can. But again, that doesn't matter as much to me anymore. If it's not something that's super, super mass pleasing, not the end of the world. I'll still wear it if I enjoy it. And as far as performance goes, very rarely do I need something that lasts like 10 plus hours anymore. I mean, it's not something that I need to have. It's nice for certain situations where you're going to be gone the entire day, but oftentimes I'm not, so I don't need that. And to be fair, Elysium is a good performer on my skin, and I would say this Parfum Cologne is a 10-12 hour performer, but it definitely gets me through the bulk majority of a standard day, and that's good enough for me. It's all about the grapefruit, the lime, a ton of vetiver, and a bunch of other citrus too. Bergamot and apple and blackcurrant and a bunch of stuff. But again, very vetiver focused with some ambergris also. I love Elysium. I'm also a big fan of Invictus Aqua, and this is in particular the 2024 that we're talking about, but obviously going all the way back to the 2016 version, which is where it started and has this same type of frosted glass deal going on as well. There are many alternatives, Rasasi Howis to name one of many. Some are closer than others, you know, but nothing ever really quite captured that same type of Invictus Aqua 2016 smell for me. Howis probably did get the closest in terms of just lumping in performance and just all of that, you know, together. It probably was the best option. But again, not the same. Now we have it back, essentially, the 2024 version. I don't know. I'm sure it's a limited edition, so I would get it now because it's not going to be around forever. That being said, it's all about the aquatic notes and the sea saltiness, a ton of ambergris and grapefruit. It's bright and fresh, but also incredibly strong and head-turning. It smells like a summer vacation. I love Invictus Aqua. This next one is Tom Ford Gray Vetiver Parfum. You don't really hear a whole lot about the gray vetivers, it seems like. I don't know. At least when it comes to Tom Ford, a lot of people are talking about ombre leather and, you know, stuff like that. But gray vetiver, especially this parfum, it's beautiful. It's a wonderful, soapy, clean, fresh, wearable vetiver scent. Now, of course, it's expensive, and so as far as, you know, wanting to wear this as a daily signature scent, that would, you know, cost more money than wearing a cheaper vetiver scent every day, obviously, because you're going to go through this at a pretty quick rate. It's a 100 ml bottle, and again, every day, 3 or 4 or 5 sprays a day, it's not going to probably take you all that long. So I obviously don't wear it every day for that reason and more reasons, but this is something that you theoretically could wear as a signature scent, because there's not a situation that I can think of where you could not wear this. And that's not to be said about everything in this video. In fact, most in this video are at least somewhat seasonal and somewhat situational, either in the casual direction or formal direction, and then warmer, cooler direction. This one does not care. Could be hot, could be cold, formal, casual. It's going to work. I would say in casual situations, this is definitely going to be overachieving, but that's not a big deal. But I love Gray Vetiver, and the Parfum to me is the one to get. I'm always a firm believer that in a lot of situations with these parfums, spend the extra little bit of money up front and get the Parfum, because most of the time it is better, it is stronger, and it is just an improvement. We're going to finish this video off with La Nuit de l'Homme. It's that Eau de Toilette version. This is my tiny little 40 ml, I think it is. You know, great stuff. It's all about that cardamom, the lavender, and even a bit of cedar wood. But basically, it's just, it's pepper and spices with lavender. It's fresh, but peppery, and A little bit sweet from the cardamom in particular. It's not what it used to be, but it doesn't matter because we can't change that, you know? So original or, you know, modern day La Nuit de l'Homme is still 100% worth it. Still is amazing. And like some of the fragrances in this video, like one or two, prices have actually gone down over the years rather than up. Used to be like 80 bucks, 100 ml as the standard, sometimes a little bit more, like 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. Now it's $62, $65, 100 ml full presentation. Nice drop in price, and it makes it a little bit more affordable for people. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. Some of my holy grail favorite fragrances that I will always love. Again, you know, as far as availability, they're all in production, all available in stock on discounters. So it's not like they're hard to find. If I was doing discontinued fragrances, this video would look entirely different. And again, they're not all out of a crazy price range or anything like that. They're mostly pretty obtainable. They're just ones that work so well for me. Links will be down below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.